For the latest top tips, reviews and advice, please subscribe below.
Hello and welcome to Outdoors Outdoors with me, Mike. Telling you guys a bit of a sort of a pitching video on a new product from Outdoor Revolution. So what I'm going to do is pitch the Outdoor Revolution Cayman Canopy and then add all of the side panels and the front panel onto it as well. It's quite a simplistic concept, doesn't mean it's a bad thing. Essentially what you've got is a roof with a few sort of king poles on it, and that allow you to kind of create a canopy, a bit more sheltered area if you will, off from the van itself. What you have is 3 king poles, like so, and then you've got a material bit like here, which again you've got double-sided beading in, so if you've got a 6mm or 4mm channel, so either wind out or a normal sort of reamer rail, C-rail, you can quite happily fit that in there. So all I'm going to do is feed that into the actual awning rail itself. Kind of pick and choose where I want that to be in terms of positioning, so I'll probably go about there. And then it's just a simple point. I'll start in the middle. All you're really going to do is there's eyelets located on the inside. There's also a pocket, so when you actually buy some bracing bars to go with the sides, you can just do that quite simply. So all I'm going to do is just feed that straight through there, straight through the eyelets, point that pretty much dead square. I can angle that in initially to get my guide point. So the guide point has obviously a normal end and then almost a little loop end. So all I'm going to do is kind of feed that directly down. If there's a sort of 2 of you, makes life a little bit easier, but you can do it quite happily on your own. So all I'm going to do now is just lift that up, get that dead square, keep the tension on that, and then guide that out like so. Okay, once you've got a tension, you can kind of move that point around a little bit, and that's just the premise of it. So once we've done one, do the same with another, feed it through the eyelet, hold that point there. Now with this guiding point, you want to sort of almost take it off at an angle, kind of where towards the camera. That way you're bracing not only out from the van itself, but also out from this other pole. So when you take that dead square, out we come. It is definitely more of a fair weather canopy, I will say that, you know, because essentially it is just almost like an umbrella kind of style. Let's sort of just twist a little bit, let's pull that back a little bit more in the there we go, better under tension. So really, you know, it's more of a lightweight kind of thing, something you would put up maybe just for a bit of shelter on a campsite for a day, you know, a weekend or something like that. It's not something, if the wind picks up, really you got to take it down. It's not designed for that. It's more just, you know, a bit of sunshine, a bit of weather protection, just allowing you to kind of pitch it like so. You know, allow you still to get into sort of your door section quite happily, but just takes the elements off a little bit. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to attach the sides onto it. Now the sides itself, I'll grab the bag. The sides come as a pair, and there's sort of definitely a left and right-handed side. You also get these little kind of awning brace backing pads kind of thing to it. And what it does is allows the poles that go in the roof section to attach onto the actual canopy itself. One there, one there, one there. That's one side. And that's the other. So first thing I'll do, first and foremost, is attach these little brackets onto the point underneath. So it's like a little screw point, and it just feeds onto a beading on the underside of it. You just sort of slide it on, hold it in place, and just turn it clockwise, and it just clamps on like so. It then's got like a little sort of, I suppose, a hole that you just feed the L-shaped bar into. Again, we'll just feed that on, find the middle, tighten it up. So the whole pitching process can take an awful lot of time, and that's kind of the joys of it in many ways, that you're going away for a short period of time or just even for a day, and you want a little bit of just protection. Generally, you can also find it, even if you've got a wind out, sometimes it's almost better to kind of have it you know, this thing out rather than the wind out, more likely less to get damaged. So what I then do is just feed that little owl section through. The pole then can expand, and there's a little sort of pocket just located at the front, so I can then brace that out like so, put the clip down, and then we've got a bit more tension on the front, and then just tie that pole in place just to keep it in the right position. So I'm just going to replicate that again. So there's your L-shaped bracket. Go into that little point that's there. Just open up that clamp. Feed it through into that tunnel at point. Just be careful not to take it off. Get the tension. It's in place. It's always, like I said, the first time you do it, it takes you a bit longer, but once you kind of get the rhythm to it and you know exactly how it's done, you just become quicker and quicker. Yeah, having a second person does make life a little bit easier, but you can do it quite happily on your own if you wanted to, like I am now. In many ways, it's almost worth buying the size just to get the roof poles. Just that way, it sort of all keeps it nice and tight and nice and tidy. So now we've got that in place, I can then attach the sides. The sides itself have a little toggle point in the top section here, and the same on the front. It just basically allows you to, I'll flip that up, and they actually Velcro on the side, just allows you to connect onto that quite happily, as and when you need to. Now, like I said, the side panels are left and right-handed, so the door always, if you've got a window, that's the other side, so that's the right-hand side, whereas the door would be that side. They are shaped and tailored, so it is sort of made bespoke. So again, all I'm going to do is basically find that little ring in the top corner, pop that on like so. Now, there's actually a sleeve built into the side itself that the poles basically go through to give you a bit more solid attachment. So what I'm going to do now is basically take that gyro point off, take that pole out. That should just drop down and carefully, you know, if it's a windy day, be a bit careful with it. Going to feed that through the sleeve, pop that back on top. Get the guide point again. And then what I can do then is then Velcro that top section together. So it's a nice strong bit of Velcro there. So it just gives you a bit more solid connection throughout the awning. You also want to wrap it around a little bit if you can, because what it means is you'll see later on when I have to do the other bit of side, it makes attaching the zip a lot easier. Oh, hello there. Again, we'll do the same thing with this side. It might be worth actually just to finish that side off, so I'm quickly peg that just in case it is a bit windy. Yeah. So I'm just going to get a bit of tension on there. You've got a big kind of adjustable strap. It's basically because it's designed to fit so many different sizes. What they kind of do just to be kind of a bit more cautious is give you more than you need. That way you haven't got to worry about it. And again, what you find is you've got almost like an L-shaped kind of point at the back here, so I can get that right underneath the van. And then get that sitting a little bit tighter. So you see that sort of L kind of shape, it just gives a bit more protection. And there's also a pegging point right in the middle. And even this skirt here as well, you can actually peg down. Again, it's just more down to the fact that if you're in a certain height bracket, just makes life a little bit easier having that a little bit more play. So if I wanted to, I could peg that skirt down actually. Just sort of help sharpen it up a little bit. I'll leave it. So then this side here is the door side. So we'll spread out again, find the toggle point which is at the top. That's it. Toggle that in nice and easily. Bring that forward. Pop that sleeve in there again. So just take that gyro point off a little bit. Down you come. Careful, careful, careful. Oh dear, he's let go, hasn't he? Bum, 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 bum. In you go, up you go. Through the eyelet. Let's get that guide point to secure it. And then we can Velcro it along the top. Wrap that round a little bit, take it up. So that, once it's obviously pegged out, it kind of gives you your idea of how it's going to be with the roof and the sides. Now if you wanted to, then there's then the option of buying kind of a front door for it, which also I think for me better off getting everything, then you can kind of utilise everything as you need it to be. It's one of those things better to have and not need than need and not have. Stick the inside triangle. There you go, so you've got roof and then quite sides. Let's go and grab the front door. So the front door itself, like I said, it will zip onto the zip you've got located here and just enclose that front. So gives you a bit more of a thorough attachment. What I would do is just kind of I'd recommend probably finding the zips first. So Velcro's on the top. Then there's toggle point, which we saw earlier. So that point there is going to find that toggle point. So that's going to be just located just in there. So that is then on. What might be worth doing is just initially get the zip runners put on. So feed that in a little bit. Just get that zip started. You can sometimes always do a toggle point afterwards if you find that's a little bit too tricky. Again, what you might do is just take the weight off that point. Gives you a bit more flexibility. You can open it up a bit better. That's a whole lot better actually. Take the tension out of it. Works like a dream. Pop that back on top again. On you go. So we'll just do that zip a little bit just to kind of get it in place. We'll spread that across. Again, let's get that zip, pull her up to the top. I'm going to be cunning enough to do it this time. Actually, there's enough playing I can do that. Brilliant, that was a lot easier. So now I'll zip all that way down to the bottom. And you've got a little Velcro round just to seal that zip off. And just Velcro that top again. Now once I've kind of done this, what I can then do is kind of readjust the guide points just to make sure that they are all getting as taut as they need to be. Because obviously you've been tensioning it on and off quite a bit. It's better off just getting it all looking a bit more pucker. what you might also find is that the poles need to kind of come out a little bit as well. So a little bit saggy. So what we'll do is orientate these guiding points out a little bit more, just to brace it across the width. Make sure that's thoroughly down a bit better. That's it. Again with this point here, that pole needs to come in a little bit more and out. And I can guide that down, peg that nice and flat. Again, we'll get a bit more tension on that guide point. Sitting quite nicely against the point there. So that side looks okay. Let's get that flap. Where's that little flap? That's better. There's a little Velcro tab that goes over just to kind of keep it all a bit sealed. Yeah, and there we go. That's kind of how you go about it. I would also make sure that the middle pole goes in the middle section. One of the poles is slightly longer than the others, so you want that sort of bang in the middle so then the water can properly slope down. But yeah, so that's kind of really how you'd go about pitching that particular model and just trying to get it looking a little bit sharper. But versatility, quite simple, quite easy, and you get a smaller pack size from it. But any more question queries, or you want to see the product and some of the prices, I think in below, check the link below the video. We can give you through to some more details there. But thank you for watching, and we'll see you again soon.